In Crypt, we see many different responses to injury, violence, disease and death. We see brutal episodes in the form of the St Brice's Day massacre, when we have a king issuing an edict which led to ethnic violence in Britain. And then what we have is something like a 1,000-year-old crime scene, where we have skeletons with evidence of terrible injuries, brutal injuries, undoubtedly lethal. And because we're able to date those remains and also locate them in a particular place, we're fairly sure that what we have is physical evidence of that terrible episode of violence. When Henry VIII's favourite ship, the Mary Rose, sank, there were hundreds of people on board trapped in the ship. And so when the Mary Rose was lifted, that was about recovering the ship itself, but also recovering the human remains of those many individuals that went down on that fateful day. Those skeletons tell us something about the nature of the occupation and the activity of the men on board the Mary Rose. And what is fascinating about those bones is that quite a lot of them have changes around the shoulder which are likely to be associated with archery. I also look at the story of the murder of Thomas Becket in Canterbury Cathedral. But we also see great tenderness and care, and I think particularly in the story of the people who were buried in the hospital grounds of St Mary Magdalene in Winchester. There's an incredible burial there where a skeleton is laid out, a skeleton that has evidence of the person suffering from leprosy during their lifetime, and buried with that skeleton is a scallop shell. It's pierced, it was probably attached to a small bag, and that man was probably a pilgrim who'd been to Compostela. I hope that readers of Crypt will be as fascinated as I am by these stories. They are incredible tales, and these stories are real, and they are based on this way of interrogating the past using the latest science to unlock secrets from ancient remains.